Hello BookTube, this is Kelly and you're watching Books I'm Not Reading. And I'm here today with a special announcement about a project that Jason, my husband, and also Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, he and I are going to do in 2020. And that is called A Year of Reading One's Own. So just to give you a little bit of history, at the end of last year, I made a really concerted effort to read books that I had purchased at two different sort of literary festivals about 20 years ago. So they had moved so many times to other states, well, one other state, and anyway, I read them and I didn't like most of them. I did really like one of them, which is Plain Song by Kent Harif. But for the most part, I was like, ugh. But I read them, and then we donated them or put them in a free library or something like that. It felt really good. It felt really liberating, I guess, to say I finally have read these books that I've been holding on to, and now I know whether I like them or not. And sometimes I think it could just be like the time of your life that you read something. You know, there's different times in our lives where certain books maybe strike a chord with us more than other times. And I think that was the case with a lot of those books. The next thing I'm going to do is show you, I've never shown on my channel our library. I apologize for the shaky camera movements and the kind of weird lighting. But I just want you to get a sense of how many books Jason and I own in our home. So I'm going to put that in right here. Hey everyone, so this is our library, which I've never shown on this channel. And I'm trying to help you get a sense of how big this room is. Love the tile was covered up when we initially saw the house. So we didn't know that was going to be waiting for us here, but yeah, so one side of the room is mostly fiction. This is fiction, and then we start into getting into nonfiction, which comes over here, and there's piles of things that are unrelated. Oh, there's all of, well, not all, but some of Jason's folio books up there on the top. This white bookcase, which I've had for a really long time, is nonfiction. So, yeah, and then all the rest, there's 4 bookcases going down this way that are all fiction. So, anyway, I apologize. It's a little dusty. It's a little messy. That little bookcase over there is religious related books, and then like I said, we've got and over here we have a whole Shakespeare section, so with some fossils that predate Shakespeare on there, but yeah, so that's our library. We own a little over 1,000 books. I think the only thing I didn't show you were the YA books, which are in a cupboard. And Jason and I actually went through and we counted how many books we had read. Now, we did a little bit of funky math. Like we didn't calculate certain books the same way. But really, we've read about the same number of books. We've both read approximately 312 books in our home library, so 1/3 of it. And I proposed to Jason, hey, like, in 2020, let's really focus on reading the books that we have. Because Jason thinks we need another bookcase, which, I mean, we might need one, but like if we had read what we have and then decide, and I'm not saying that I expect there to be a mass unhauling at the end of 2020, but I do think that at least for me personally, I will read some books in 2020 that I'm just going to say, oh, let's pass that along, and maybe somebody else will enjoy it more than I did. I don't need to read it again. I don't need to own it. Now, when you're married, it gets a little tricky. So one example is this book right here, Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin, which I'm pretty sure Jason bought before we were married, somewhere along the way. We've been married almost 14 years, to give you some idea. And every winter, Jason looks at this book and is like, oh, I really should read that. So finally, before the movie came out, which was also just terrible, I decided to read it. And it's a big, dense book. So I read it before I saw the movie, and I hate this book, and I hate the movie. I can't stand it. And so if it were just my library, this book would have been gone quite a while ago. But because it's our library, with some things more than others, but Jason still really wants to read it. And so I'm like, okay, so read this book in 2020. And the truth is, I know Jason's taste well enough to know he's not gonna like it. Now, there's sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I am wrong about those things. But for the most part, like, I generally feel like I know the things that really resonate with him, just like he does with me. And I don't think he's gonna like this book. But we have it on our bookshelf, and it drives me crazy. So I also just really want to stress the fact that, so we're doing this as a married couple, as people who live in a house with 1,000 books, and we definitely, I don't want anyone to think that we're implying that everyone on BookTube should do this. Certainly not professional book critics. I would be devastated not to ever see another mail haul, another Christmas vacation, whatever, another haul video. That would be very sad, I think. But I do hope that we can create like a conversation about why we hold on to the books that we do and why we let go of the ones that we do. What is the value of a book to us? I really, really don't want anyone to think that Jason and I are trying to tell everybody on BookTube, like, this is what you should do. Like, it's just what we're gonna do. And I do hope that over the course of the year, we read books and enjoy them, and if we love them, definitely we will keep them, and if we don't, then maybe we can let them go. So we'll see. It will be very interesting. I'm really excited about this because I've kind of been doing it myself since I started BookTube. I've actually considered renaming my channel The Backlist because I'm not reading a lot of new things unless Jason picks something up for me. And I don't generally read much in contemporary fiction anyway. We will still be using our local library. Jason has some buddy reads planned, and I'm hoping to read some Shakespeare with Rainy from Rainy Day Reads over the years. So I'll be checking the ones that we don't own out from our local library. So I'll still get the Pulitzer from the library. Yeah, so it's not as though, but we're not gonna buy anything. The only two exceptions are books that we both have on pre-order. Jason, of course, is dying to have a copy of The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. And I'm planning on reading all of Betty Smith's books next year, and I realize there's one I don't own, and it's going to be reprinted by Harper Perennial, I think in May. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's already been ordered. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this project. If you primarily read just things you already own, or if you check out a lot of stuff from the local library. Do you just enjoy looking at your books? There's all kinds of things. So feel free to make a video in response to this if you want to. But it will be, for Jason and I on our channels, it will be an ongoing conversation all year long. And I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys and let you know what that ends up looking like at the end of the year. So, all right, BookTube, thank you so much for watching. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon.